Recognizing the member for Cowichan Valley.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and through you to the Minister. The issue that I'm here today about, I'm sure comes as no surprise to the Minister of Environment, and that's the issue of contaminated soil in the Cowichan Valley, specifically in the Shawnigan Lake area. And I know it's under appeal, and so I don't want to risk hearing the answer over and over again that it's an issue before the Environmental Appeal Board. But I do want to ask what I would think are a couple of simple questions that are on the minds of folks in the Shawnigan Lake region specifically, and that is within the experience of the Minister, and this isn't something that we're used to. So my question is the Environmental Appeal Board wrapped up their hearings back in July of last year. It's now almost 8 months. So I guess our question is this the usual kind of length of time it takes to get a decision from the Environmental Appeal Board, or is this exceptional and rather long? Because this is affecting things like real estate values, and the community is telling me things like they're holding their breath waiting for this decision.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we at the Ministry are anxious for a decision as well, and are surprised by the length of time that it has taken. I can say, first of all, I know the member's aware that they are a completely independent body. We don't have any influence over how long they take for their decision. It is influenced, of course, by the complexity of the decision, but also by what else they may have on the go at the time and what their capacity is. But they are an independent body. We're anxious for a decision as well.
Member.
Okay, thank you for that. The folks in the Shawnigan region, for example, the director, Sonia Firstenow, she has reported that real estate values have been impacted, and I think there was a recent story by CBC about real estate values being impacted and businesses impacted in the Shawnigan region. And one of the pieces of evidence that I'm sure your ministry is aware of, because you would have had people there on your behalf, it was the evidence from the statutory decision maker of the Ministry of Environment was at the hearing that the Ministry of Environment did not do a full economic impact study or any kind of impact study with regard to the potential impacts that are required in the statutory decision maker's handbook. As we understand it, the statutory decision maker has a handbook that he's supposed to go through, and he admitted on the stand that he did not do an economic impact study. So we're wondering if you're about to do one now. Maybe that's broken out already and we're just not aware of it.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And unfortunately, I can't comment with respect to any testimony that was before the EAB.
Member.
Okay, the issue of professional reliance is something that, and this wasn't an issue that was raised necessarily before the board, but we do know that that it's kind of standard practice, whether it's the Ministry of Environment or the Ministry of Forest, Land and Natural Resources, that they believe in the notion of professional reliance and suggest that that's a good model because they can then hold the professional reliance folks responsible, and that they can be held accountable for the advice that they give. So I guess in response to that, could the minister tell us, was the ministry in any way surprised, or did they actually give advice to the professional reliance that was involved in the proponent giving the information, Active Earth, on yes, it was an issue before the Environmental Appeal Board, but ultimately everybody's asking the question in the community, why didn't Active Earth take the stand? They're the professional group that you relied on for making decisions, and yet they didn't take the stand. Do you have any explanation for that, or were you surprised, like the rest of the community, that they did not take the stand to defend their professional decision making?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm sure the member won't be satisfied with this, but probably not surprised. I really can't comment in any detail with respect to this, given that it is before the Environmental Appeals Board.
Member.
Well, maybe this you could comment on, and that's the CVRD has spent $460,000 so far on legal defense. The community has spent more than $500,000 on their legal defense, and being as how this is a budgeting process, my question is, have there been monies allocated out of the Ministry of Environment's budget for the this case, or does that money come out of some other ministry? And could you inform us where that money would be paid out of for lawyers for the Ministry of Environment?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the way this operates, anytime that we hire legal counsel, unless we hire external legal counsel, it is an internal transfer. So we hire them, if you will, in air quotes, from the Department of Justice. So it would be the Department of Justice that would have an accounting of specific cases and what they have billed. We don't track that. We don't even have within our budget framework a specific amount that's dedicated to legal, because it is an internal transfer in government. But the Ministry of Justice, Attorney General, should have that amount.
Member.
Well, I guess along the same lines, if there is judicial appeal, and obviously, I guess I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but we're hopeful that the outcome is to cancel the permit. If that doesn't occur, I'm told that the community is committed to fundraising and to go forward with a judicial appeal to the Supreme Court. And so the question is would the Minister of Environment already have had some discussions with the other ministry involved, or is that something that's not necessarily discussed, even though there have been clear indications that this could be a very costly matter indeed? You know, is there any pre-planning in this budget or in the other minister's budget for this ongoing battle with the community of Shawnigan Lake?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There have been no discussions of that nature to date.
Member.
On a related matter, the Cowichan Valley Regional District, and it's not recent, but back in 2012, they were talking about doing a study, and they found over 1,200 truckloads a month of contaminated soil coming over the Malahat to dump at 11 different sites in the Cowichan Valley region, and that some of those sites were unofficial, and they were calling it bootlegged contaminated soil dumping. So my question is what follow-up action, if any, has the Ministry of Environment taken to protect the good citizens of the Cowichan Valley from this alleged illegal activity that I'm told by the CVRD is the responsibility of the provincial government?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In general, we do encourage people in communities to report any illegal dumping that they're aware of through the RAP line. And when that happens, we do investigate and we do follow up. I'm told that in the case of the concerns in the CVRD, that over the summertime there was some sampling done at some of the sites of concern. I don't have specific details with me, but our staff would be happy to follow up with you and let you know, and we can let the CVRD know where we're at in terms of proceeding to investigate the activities that are alleged.
Member.
Well, thank you for that, Minister. I'll certainly accept that generous offer. And I would like to finish up by asking for a copy of the Statutory Decision Makers Handbook. I went online looking for such a thing. I thought maybe it would be posted and available, but if I could get a copy of that, I'd appreciate that.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'd be happy to provide that.